So ladies and gentlemen, we're minutes away from the arrival of the Typhoon coming from behind us over the Blackpool Tower. Everybody turn around and face the tower. All praise the tower. So this year's Royal Air Force Typhoon display, call sign Reheat 01, is piloted by Squadron Leader Nathan Sawyer. He's a flying instructor at 29 Squadron based at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. Nathan was born down in West Sussex and then he moved down to Devon, my part of the world, where he attended college, and here he comes. As you can see, pulling into the vertical. Now out to the right for a double corkscrew, leaving that reheat engine on all the time. Nathan sustaining crushing three forces there as he's coming through back to ground. Now watch as he inverts the aircraft. Large amount of seagulls moving through the area. Now watch as he rolls the aircraft back around for us. Straight and level. This 4.5 generation into a loop, accelerating up to 500 miles an hour. It's going to trade the height now, apexing up at about 4,000 feet. Still in reheat, sustainable G's all the way around that. Watch as he comes back around. Watch for 5 aileron rolls. Time to get dizzy. In total, 1,000. And then he breaks straight from the ground. He's putting about 6 G in that turn. He's full body G-suit helping him to soak up that massive G-load. All his sensors ready for the next maneuver. Now it's time for the inbound barrel roll. He's going to slow the aircraft down, and by slow, that's relative, it's 300 miles an hour still. Nathan rolls the aircraft in a graceful barrel roll. The Typhoon, obviously the cutting edge of technology with the Royal Air Force down at the F-35, the backbone of the Royal Air Force's fleet. It's a 4.5 generation fighter powered by 2 EJ200 engines, and as we can see in full reheat. That's producing about 52,000 pounds of thrust. That is a lot of thrust. Now watch as the aircraft positions to come straight back in. Nathan aggressively pulls back on the stick and the aircraft's going to go into a loop before breaking away for a double corkscrew. Pitching up, you see that canard wing. Top of that. Complete the loop as he comes down. To another corkscrew. Perfect weather for the flying today. aircraft in what we call knife edge. Great photo opportunity here before rolling the aircraft upside down inverted. Get your cameras ready. Nathan pitches up, rolls into knife edge, and then into inverted. Nathan's now going to push the aircraft away from the ground, this time holding about -3 G, so that -3 G is very, very uncomfortable, and an inverted climb up to 3,500 feet. Top of that into an aileron roll, and then he's going to pull back down towards the ground. Nathan's going to be around a little bit later on down at the Typhoon display area down here near the tower if you want to come and say hello. Now, going through there about 700 miles an hour. That is fast. So when he's braking away there, again he's back on about 9G. Luckily the seats in these aircraft are not straight up, they're not like a normal seat. He's sort of lying back at about 20 degrees, and that helps him dissipate the G-forces across his body. Now get ready for the slow speed. Nathan is heading towards us, pitching high alpha. If you've got binoculars, you'll see those flaperons at the front moving, and also his canards moving. Now it's minimum speed, and then watch as he powers the aircraft up, goes into full reheat at 52,000 pounds of thrust. Now watch as he pitches the aircraft back. There we go. Hesitation rolls. 3 times down. Now into a maximum turn. Sustained 9G turns. Incredibly still managing to accelerate while he's pulling 9G. Nathan working extremely hard there. Out of that max rate turn into a barrel roll. While he's pulling that 9G, he's the same weight as a Formula 1 car. That's how much weight, it's like a Formula 1 car sitting on his chest. Now, ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the ultimate departure. And that is the end of the first act Blackpool display for 2005. The Royal Air Force Typhoon. Thanks to Squadron Leader Nathan Sawyer. Fantastic display. Could you think of anything better? Hang on, I've got something better. How would you like a Lancaster, a Spitfire and a Hurricane now? So, they've just come on frequency. It's all heading in our direction. I don't talk a lot over BVMF, to be honest. I like to just sit back and watch the Merlins go by. You don't want to hear my voice spoiling the sound of those beautiful Merlin aircraft. So we're going to just watch them come in. The Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, of course, is living history. And these aircraft are here to make us think about the sacrifices of the people in the Second World War, men and women, the air crews that went to battle for us, beat the Nazis. And these aircraft, they're not hanging up in a museum where you've got to go inside to see them. The Royal Air Force at Coningsby do a fantastic job in keeping this fleet of aircraft flying throughout the UK, and they did a great job yesterday. Again, huge thanks to them yesterday. We had some pretty nasty weather, and they held off until the end of the day, and they finally came and closed the show. So I've just heard on the radio, they've been given their radio brief and they're moving in. They're going to come in from the crowd right. Also, if you want to know more about the Lancaster and the Spitfire, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight have their very own tent. It's down here right in front of the tower. It's a black tent. They've just got a new car as well. And we've got to say a big thank you to the sponsors, to LC Vehicle Hire, who provided the Royal Air Force Battle of Britain Memorial Flight with a fantastic new Ford vehicle, so they can tour the country with them. So huge thanks to LC Vehicle Hires for that, and may you have many happy motoring miles in it. So the Lancaster coming in is PA 474. This is one of only 2 Lancasters remaining airworthy in the world. It was built near the end of the war in May of 45. And by the end of the war it ended in Europe, but it was still going on in Japan, so they fitted it out to go to the Tiger Force, and they were about to ship it off to help in Far East, but then that conflict ended as well, so it ended up staying back in the UK, went into storage, which was 3 hours and 10 minutes on the airframe, so it was practically brand new. And then in September of 48 to 52, after conversion to a PR standard, it conducted aerial survey mapping work in East and South Africa with 82 Squadron. It wrapped up about 2,000 hours, which is still not a lot of hours on a big airframe like this, before it came back to the UK. And then it went out to work, do some commercial work with Flight Refueling Limited. So I can see them way off in the distance. It's thought to have been built back in Reading. It was delivered to Southampton in May of 44. It was used for tests, although it did not see operational service. It pretty much represents the similar high altitude photo reconnaissance Spitfires which did. They were unarmed, of course. They could fly at 370 miles an hour. So the main armament was actually speed. They'd fly up to 40,000 feet. They had a fully pressurized cockpit and a range of about 1,500 miles. Could cover vast swathes of northern France, where they did amazing work preparing for the D-Day invasions. Spitfire was the satellite of the day. Without them, there would be no intelligence. You wouldn't know where battle groups were. You wouldn't know what sort of defenses you'd be going into. And without these very fast aircraft, flown by very brave pilots in difficult conditions, 40,000 feet is not a place you want to be with in a piston engine if you can help it. Valuable data was brought back. May of 49, it was issued to 203 Advanced Flying School, and there it was modified for meteorological work. She was flown by civilian pilots with the temperatures, humidity and monitoring flight. That was based out of Houghton Park and Woodvale. And they regularly went up to 30,000 feet every day in this aircraft. In 57, PM631 was flown to Biggin Hill from Duxford. By World War II Fighter Ace Group Captain Jamie Rankin, and in formation with another flight of Mark 19s, which was PS853 and PS915, to form the historical aircraft flight, which later evolved into BBMF.
There he is.
So the fighters just letting know the Lancaster, they see them. I hope you got that on video. Spitfire and a Hurricane rolling over the top with a Lancaster underneath. A beautiful sunny day in Blackpool. It could not be any better. Lancaster letting us know the speed, so the aircraft, when they come to catch up with him on the way back, will be able to match their speed. As I said earlier, this aircraft served with Flight Refueling Limited, and then it went on to Cranfield in 1954, where she was modified as a platform for testing experimental aerofoil sections. In April of '64, it was adopted by the Air Historical Branch for static display originally at the RAF Museum. She was flown to Henlow for storage to await the opening of the museum. And then in '65, the CO of 44 Squadron, that was the first ever unit equipped with Lancasters, and at that time it was flying Vulcans, gained permission for 474 to be transferred to the care of the squadron. And after inspecting it, they said, wow, this is in really good condition. It's like new inside. And it was allowed to fly over there. It then got refurbished, joined the Battle of Britain Memorial flight in 1973. Initially at Collishaw, before the flight moved to Coningsby, 76, and still living there today, happily. PA474 was officially adopted by the City of Lincoln in 1975, and permission was granted for the aircraft to display the coat of arms and the name of the city on the nose, which it always does. It does sometimes adjust the colour schemes that it wears, representing other aircraft, but the City of Lincoln always says on the nose. PA474 at the moment, painted on the port side as a Lancaster Bill. Lancaster Bill was the nose art depicting a kangaroo in Wellington boots playing bagpipes, representing the mixed nationalities that flew the aircraft, the Scottish, the Australian and the Welsh. That was its crew at the time. 505 flew 51 ops with 460 Squadron, Royal Australian Air Force, Binbrook, and then it was transferred over to 550 Squadron at North Killinghome. And then on the other side, on the starboard side, it wears the colours of 50 Squadron for the code letters VN, VNT. These are the code letters of the aircraft which Flying Officer Dougie Milken flew 27 missions. In total, Dougie did 35 ops on his tour with 50 Squadron. So can you hear the fighter pilots calling out that they're clear? Obviously the bomber pilots can't see them because they're trailing behind underneath, so now they'll pop up beside them and get a line abreast. I cannot recommend enough thinking about joining this official club for the Royal Air Force Memorial Flight. You can get membership in the club for just £30 for a whole year, and those funds go directly in keeping these aircraft flying. In return for your support, you'll become part of BBMF's own special club that takes you to the heart of the action. You'll receive high-quality glossy magazines each year. The club magazine features stunning images, behind-the-scenes interviews. You can also sign up to get a monthly interview, and they're entitled to free tours of BBMF's hangar via the BBMF Visitor Centre. That's worth it on its own.
I walked past someone with the new Ferrari out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, final pass. Well, now is the BBMF. So we can hear the team leader calling out, repositioning the aircraft behind him, and the Yak-52s of course have their smoke systems on. These smoke systems are performed by using the heat of the exhaust, and it is all fully biodegradable. So they'll stay in this Vic formation as they come back. Smoke on from the 52s, just holding that bank angle. Very distinctive shape. It looks a little bit like a Harvard from that sort of angle, the wing anyway. Big, thick wing, long chord on that Yak 18. Oh, I see what you've done there. Okay, babushka, babushka. Very good, very good. team, and on the radio you hear it making the calls. That's team leader Phil Hardesty, and Phil is a very accomplished pilot. He's two wingmen in the 52s, two slot on the right there. It's Alex Lawton, that's with the white, yellow and black nose. That aircraft, Golf Bravo, X-Ray, Juliet Bravo, is based out at Duxford. So get your cameras ready as they come in, because we're going to have a break. The Yak 18 is going to depart, and we'll have a display from the 52s. So good camera shot coming up soon. So the two 52s break to their right. Flying that 3 slot is Tom Turner, the silver and red Yak 52. Registration Golf Yankee Alpha Kilo Foxtrot, Kiev as it's called, and that also is based down in sunny Duxford. Coming back in now is the Yak 18, as I said. It does share a lot of systems with the 52. And this one, the Yak 18T, a common model. The Yak 18T was designed in the late 60s as a civilian aircraft, as I said. It has a nose wheel, and it's a 4 or 5-seater, depending on the person that you're inviting to come flying. This particular aircraft is powered by a 9-cylinder, 400 horsepower radial engine. And as you can see, a very capable aircraft in aerobatics, although you don't want to be upside down too long, because it's got about a 2-minute window, about a minute and a half to be safe, before the fuel in the carburetor runs out. As I said, the 18 shares systems with the Yak 52. Very strong aircraft, as is the Yak 52 that now arrives from the left. Straight up into a loop. It's such a solid aircraft to fly. Even though you can see underneath the wings that the wheels are sort of hanging out, and they're meant to do that, it's not broken. They sort of protrude by about 20-25%. And I once talked to a Russian instructor, Gennady Eltimov, and he told me, he said, well, because we were having so many crashes, we thought it would be a good idea to try and save the wing by having some of the wheel still sticking out, and it does actually work as well. So if you have to do wheels up landing, really you can never do wheels up landing on a Yak 52, because they'll always have the wheels hanging down a little bit. The Yak 52 has some peculiar quirks. Most Western aircraft, the propeller will rotate clockwise, but in the 52 it's anti-clockwise. A nice 4-point hesitation roll as it goes through, which when you've got anti-clockwise, it means you've got to put in opposite rudder when you're taking off. And one of the things I really like about this aircraft, it's got little sticks that pop up when you drop the gear. When you come in to land, these little black and white sticks about halfway out your wing will pop up to say, yeah, the gear is down. So the Yak 18 and the Yak 52 back in a 2-ship. As through the center comes the Singleton into a very nice loop. And rolling out the side. Another thing with Yak 52s, especially if you're taxiing them, it's got a pneumatic brake system, so air, so it's got a big cylinder of air, and that cylinder has only X amount of brakes in it, as my instructor told me. So once you run out of air, you've got no brakes. So you've got to be used to brake sparingly when you're taxiing with this aircraft. Nice crossover section. Alex doing a great job with Singleton. He's going to join up with Tom and onto the Yak 52 as well with Phil at the controls. He's going to slot into his 3-slot line astern. The Chinese made a copy of the 52, it's called the Nangchang CJ6. They basically extended it a little bit, but I think the 52 is the way to go. And as I said, very popular with private pilots and relatively cheap to operate. So if you want to get into aerobatics and into the warbird scene, the Yak 52 is definitely something to look at. So you heard the call coming from the team leader in the Yak 18, that's Phil Hardesty, and it's his job to orchestrate the aircraft behind him. They won't change position and move out of position until he does that countdown with them. And now obviously they're beside him so you can see them, but when especially they're underneath, tucked away like that, it's very important that they find wait until they're called up. So you heard Alex call out reversing, that means he's going to bring the aircraft back around so we can see their top side. Great photo opportunity.
Lost him again. There. There's two of them now.
Now watch as they change formation once again. Alex has just called out a Vic formation, so he'll slide slightly to the right, and number 2 and number 3 will come up on his left and his right hand side. And once they get in position, they say all aboard, therefore they're good to go. So now they're coming back in Vic formation. Let's listen to Alex call out the team. So the Yak 18 with Phil Hardesty at the controls, calling out the shots. Coming back around for their penultimate pass. Little trick I found helped a lot when I was flying 52s. If you're in big formation like that and you're trying to formate unlike the F-18, put a little bit of sticky tape on the window. I'd get up into the position that I needed to be, and then I'd have this little sticky tape and I'd stick it up right on the windshield where the pilot's helmet was in the other aircraft. Really worked a treat. As long as you keep that on the pilot's helmet, it worked a treat. So as they come back around, they're going to climb out and come back in on the center line for their final break. We'll listen to Phil call that out on the radio.
You didn't go up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the flying comrades, Yak 18 and Yak 52. Well, we had a bit of drama in the commentary position while all this was going on. We had one from the FCC come and say, the harbour's broken down. And they'll come back and, no, the harbour started again. So we're good to go. Apparently the harbour is up and running, and I'm pleased to say that John Hurl will be here very, very shortly in one of my favourite aircraft. So he'll be coming in very shortly. That gives me a little bit of time to do some Instagrams. Lots of people reaching out on Instagram, and if you want to be one of them, just drop me a note on Joe Airshow. This is from Wayne. Wayne Littler wants to say hi to Leslie and Josh. Nice, I like that, Wayne, keep it short and sweet. Andrew Barnes wants to say hi to his wife and kids, Seth, Faye and David, and his two nephews who are set here for the second day watching air shows. A lot better today though, Wayne, isn't it, than yesterday? Yesterday, that was rubbish weather, really bad. But today we've got the sunshine, and it just makes all the difference. Super League Roundup wants to shout out Demi, who is with Sue, enjoying at the controls. It's the Harvard. That noise you hear, the Harvard bark it's called, is the very tip-top of the propeller going supersonic. So it puts out that very distinctive noise. And then when it's flying away from you, you get the sound of that beautiful Pratt & Whitney radial engine. It sounds glorious. For you film buffs out there, you might recognize the Harvard, because in nearly every film in like the 60s and the 70s, because they couldn't get hold of a Japanese Zero or a Mitchman 109, they just get a Harvard, put some markings on it, and call it a Zero or a 109. So my wife hates it when I point it out. I go, that's a Harvard, that's not a Zero. And it's like, yeah, whatever, Joe. So this Harvard is privately owned by Captain Greg Corley. He's an EasyJet training captain. And they are a thirsty little beast, these. They weren't built with the word economy in mind. 40 to 50 gallons an hour it's throwing out. So very expensive to run. This aircraft is a genuine 1942s aircraft. It's not been messed with in any way. Very, very original on the inside as well. And as you can see, a very heavy aircraft, and ponderous, I suppose is a word you'd use, but that was exactly what you wanted in a training aircraft. You didn't want things happening fast for a newbie pilot, because they would struggle with that. It's about the principles of flight: pitch, roll, and as we just saw, roll there, it's very capable of rolling. Although again, don't roll for too long. It's got no fuel injection system, so you're only allowed to be upside down for as long as the fuel is in the carburetor. Lovely barrel roll on the outside, and I'm sure a lot of people from Blackpool are familiar with this aircraft because it's actually based up here at High G Jets, Hangar 4 in Blackpool. Lots to see and do out at Blackpool Airport as well if you're into your aircraft. I know there's some flight experiences out there as well, so have a look at their website of visitblackpool.com, and that's got all the information that you'll need on there. The gentleman at the control, John Hurley, he started actually flying with the Royal Air Force on Vulcans. He did cocktail captain's tours, and he was posted to Germany where he was flying in Buccaneers. Got enough speed going into those maneuvers, because as you can see, it's almost like it's hanging there at the top of it. You think, wow, is that going to slip out of that? But no, it just keeps it going. John, of course, very, very accomplished on this aircraft. After he flew Buccaneers in Germany, he converted to Tornadoes, and he was in Germany until '94. And after being told that he was being promoted, was going to be flying a desk, he went, okay, I think my time with the Royal Air Force is up. So he then moved on and decided it was time to leave. He did a tour in Oriath Valley as a squadron commander on the Hawks before that though. John's tour with the Hawk in Valley, he then joined BAE Systems and continued flying the Hawk. In '96 he joined BAE Systems as an instructor, teaching fast jet pilots to instruct on the Hawk. Did that for 15 years and then started his own company, which is, as I said, Blackpool IG Jets. They operate the Strike Master, we saw earlier, or we will see later. Also, they've got the Albatross jets in there. Very nice flying by John. As I said, not a lot of power to spare in this aircraft, so when you enter into those pitch up maneuvers, very important you know your airspeed. You have to be traveling at a certain speed, so you know that when you get to the top of that loop or half cubit or whatever it is that you're doing, you're going to be able to enter out and you won't what we call slip out and stall at the top. So that's why you always see him pitching the aircraft down a little bit before he starts pulling it up, build up his airspeed. Very nice roll at the top, he's flattening himself out, keeping that height, and he's going to translate into speed. As you comes back down. As I said, the Harvard was fantastic, very strong, sturdy platform for flight training. Many pilots went to Canada on them. And John gives us a little wing wave there as he heads off back to Hangar 4 at Blackpool Airport, where I'm sure some days they'll have open days. We can go and see them. So a big thank you to John Hurley and the Harvard. So for people that have just arrived, I'm going to give you a quick update of where we are. We've already had the Typhoon and BBMF and the Yaks and the Harvard. Still coming up next is Richard Goodwin in the Pitts Muscle aircraft. Then Team Raven are going to be on at about 3:15. Catalina is here at 4:30. The Wing Walkers, those fantastic brave ladies on top of the Boeing Stearmans, will be here at 15:42. And the Strike Masters, again with John Hurley, will be coming back at 4 o'clock. Calidus Autogyro takes to the sky at 4:15, and at 4:25 the Chipmunks. 2 of the Chipmunks will be displaying. Then we have the Red Devils parachute display team at 16:36, and closing the show from behind us over the tower is the Red Arrows, the Royal Air Force display team, Red Arrows. So still lots and lots of flying to do here, and lots to see and do on the ground as well. Coming up next is Richard Goodwin in the very powerful. We've had a pretty sedate display there from the Harvard. Well, this aircraft is the opposite when it comes to the power band ratio. He has power to spare and then some. And normally he has 2 jets strapped to the side of this aircraft. Unfortunately, the jets went tech last week in an air show in Dublin, but he just unbolts them. Still has a perfectly operational pit special. The routine is about 10 to 11 minutes long, and it's going to be hard to keep up with him. We're going to have to definitely change the music. Glenn Miller ain't going to cut it. So, also let you know that the Blackpool Airshow brochures are still available at the marquee, and they're just in front of the tower. So if you head to the tower and then look to your left, or your right, I suppose, depending which way it comes from, you'll see them for sale. But now, coming from the right, in Knife Edge, Richard Goodwin and the Muscle Pitts. Side slipping at 100 feet. Cross controls, smoke on. Now he levels the aircraft out. Back into side slip. Pitching the aircraft up now to climbing to its altitude of 200 feet. Little check on the controls and straight into the snap rolls. 2.5 snaps, inverted climbing downwards towards away from the crowd. And here he comes back from our left hand side, trading off the height for speed again. And into inverted. 2 point, oh, outside turn. Horrible. Negative G instead of positive G. Feel all the blood being pushed up to the front. And there he goes, snap rolling the aircraft in the climb. And coming out upside down, inverted, slowly coming down. Staying inverted, 5-point harness keeping him inside, and then snap rolling the aircraft around. The aircraft can roll about 400 degrees a second, so that's more than 1 revolution in a second. Watch now as he goes up into the inverted and then just pushes over negative G at the top, staying upside down. Super uncomfortable. Makes it look so easy. Richard is very, very fit. He spends a lot of time in the gym, and you have to build up this G tolerance so that your body can take it when you're going through these punishing maneuvers. And unlike the Typhoon that we saw earlier that was pulling all that G, Richard does not have any G suit to assist him with it, so it's pure muscle memory. And then there you go, another negative push out. Oh, very, very uncomfortable just looking at it. Snap rolling the aircraft down, 2.5 revolutions, and out to our right hand side. Richard has not only modified the aircraft with regards to putting jet engines on it, but also he's done a lot of aerodynamic work on the tips of the wings, you'll notice that. And as you can see, it's paying off in spades. 3 full revolutions at the top. There's still snap rolling aircraft in and vertical. Now watch it as he pulls the power back on the aircraft and just hangs in the air with the propeller, and then boot full of rudder, and then a wing over, and then another wing over underneath him, a double wing over as he comes back down. Other aerodynamics alterations that have been done to this aircraft include the control surfaces. So the ailerons, which give me roll, are normally on a pitch just on the bottom wing, but as you can see, as he snap rolls the aircraft around at the stop and goes into a bit of a launch evac, he has 2 sets of ailerons on the top wing and the bottom wing. Gives him very, very good roll authority. And there you go, again, that negative G push out, hugely uncomfortable. Now watch as Richard's speed builds up, diving back down. Richard's based out of Gloucester Airport, now my part of the world, in the western country, but does shows literally all over the world. He's been in the Middle East, he's been all around Europe, and now again we get to see this prop hang, just pulling back on the power, just tickling the power, just getting the right amount, then holding it there, smoke on, then he lets the tail slide back down into his own smoke. He's gone, oh he's back. No, he was lost in the ball of smoke. So the perfect tail slide, and that shows the precision that the aircraft has when it comes to delivering the power. It's got a better power to weight ratio than 1:1, so it's got more power than it actually needs. It can accelerate in the vertical, and that just shows it. Smoke system working very well for Richard there as he fell back into his own. Now watch as the aircraft pitches up, rolling, then reverse the roll 3 times, and boot full of rudder at the top, another 3 reverse, and then pushing the aircraft upside down, and he pulls back on the control column. So a very traditional cockpit layout inside the control column between his knees. None of this fly-by-wire little handset nonsense. Means that he can use his full upper body to wrestle those controls. And he's actually had an extension done on the pole, because the higher the control column is up, the more leverage it gives you. These aircraft are not pneumatic, there's no hydraulics on the control surfaces, so when he pulls on that stick, there's basically a piece of wire between the bottom of the stick and the control column. So when you're going fast, the forces need to actually move that stick, huge. So inverted dive, like you do, that's when you find the pen that you lost a couple of days ago. It just pops out there. The amount of things I found in aircraft when you turn them upside down, it's like, how did that get in there? Exactly. So again, liberal use of the rudder in that turn as he snap rolls the aircraft around. Now he's climbing up to height. And that means he's going to use that height for maneuvering as he comes back down. Smoke on. Let's count these off as he starts rolling the aircraft on stack. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 complete snap rolls. Speed building all the time as he's diving down. Now pitching back up into the vertical. Rolling all the way up. We need to cut a sunroof in this commentary box because I can't see how he's gone up there. And diving back down. Again, launching the aircraft into a series 5 or 6 aileron rolls as it goes up and back down from our left hand side, constantly trading that speed for maneuverability. Roll, then reverse, roll again. Now over the top, just pushing the aircraft forward. We call that a bunt at the top, where you push the nose down, and very, very uncomfortable. You roll from positive to negative G instantly. Another series of snap rolls, and this time he's hanging the aircraft on the propeller and a boot full of rudder to get it around, still twisting at the top. And then reverse. Pit Special was the aircraft during the 70s, 80s, and a little bit of the 90s. Then unfortunately it was time for the Extra 300, which took over its mantle as the world's leading aerobatic aircraft. Many world championships won before that, and now most competition aerobatics aircraft like this have their own category, because the carbon fiber of the Extras and all the other MX aircraft like that far outweigh these aircraft. But as you can see, Richard has redesigned it, reinvented it, and it's got a new life in his hands. And hopefully we'll see him soon again with the jets strapped on the side as well. Another little side step there as he's coming through. You can give him a wave, because I can assure you he can see you in that cockpit. He's using the visual cues. He heads out to the left hand side. Back down for these 100 feet. Tumbling the aircraft again forward. Nose down, picking up the display line again as he races in. Speed building up to about 300 miles an hour. And coming down in the dive. And then pulling back on the throttle at the bottom there. And watch now as he brings the aircraft up into hover, and then a torque roll at the top. That's the torque from the engine, from the rotation of the propeller, spinning the aircraft. And he is now departing to our left, to Blackpool. So that, ladies and gentlemen, was Richard Goodwin in the pit, the muscle pit, no less. Very nice bit of flying. I'm getting dizzy just looking at him. Okay, so coming up next, we have our first big team, because it's 7 aircraft. Team Raven and the 2025 Blackpool Airshow. So as I said, leading in the team was Simon Fitzgerald, who's number 2. Patrick Wilson, who's the newest member of the team. Patrick grew up in the backseat of aerobatic aircraft, so he's used to this. Raven 3 is Pete Wells. Raven 4 is Paul Farmers. Raven 5, Mark Southern. Raven 6 is Gerald Williams. And Raven 7 is Russ Eatwell. What a great name, Eatwell. Watch as they come back from the left. So we just heard the break there called, so that means number 5 and number 6 breaking off. And they'll now come back. Watch as they both pitch the aircraft up into the vertical and do a mirror maneuver, rolling the aircraft at the top. And roll. The aircraft powered by a Lycoming 360. Great engine, Lycoming 360. It's like a real powerhouse. Rolling left now. Rolling back. Tightening. I'm letting it out. Follow your force. Max off. Go. You can hear the call out from the team leader, making sure everybody's on board after that maneuver. And that leaves crowd line free for 5 and 6 to come back. And as you can see, they're positioning themselves in crowd center. And into a barrel roll. Now watch as they come towards you, get your cameras ready, they'll get ready for a break.
Wait, well off, got that break.
Rolling out. So with 5 and 6 heading off to our left, keep your eyes out for the other 4 aircraft as they come in from our left hand side. And number 4 rotating around the main body, Paul Farmers, vice professionally as a chief pilot and SAR commander of the Watch and Rescue Base at St. Athens in northern Wales. So 5 and 6 now joining back up with the main body of aircraft. Get ready for them as they come running back in. Now watch the aircraft as they come. They're going to roll in crowd center. Fantastic photo opportunity coming up. The aircraft are going to spread towards us and then burst in all different directions. So as they fill the sky, you can hear the team leader calling out the break, and now they all have to rejoin again. So the RB8, as I said, a home-built aircraft and very, very comfortable to fly. It's a good tourer. It's got good range. And also, you can have a side-by-side variant, so it's the same airframe, but instead of having the fighter concept that they have, where you can sit behind the people, if you're building it, you can build it so you can sit side by side as well. Some of them are actually four-seaters as well. That's how much extra power you've got. So in this configuration, which just two people are in the space, one person, bags of power, because it's such a light airframe. As we can see, as the aircraft maneuver in front of us, they're very fast for what they are. They can get up to 220 miles an hour. And unlike a lot of the aerobatic teams from the military that obviously pay the bills, all team members of this team pay their own bills, and it's their own aircraft, they pay their own maintenance, and it's purely a passion for them.
Come on, prepare to pull in, go.
Nice loop. As I said, the whole team is led by Sid. He's only recently acquired an RV8. He switched over from his RV4, which he served in the team for the first 4 seasons. He's a keen motorcyclist. Likes his time up in the Pyrenees on his bike. Lives in Cardiff. Why not teaching the University Air Squadron students how to fly? He likes travelling. Amateur astronomer as well, so he can tell what's in the stars. So watch the 3 ship coming back in the crowd centre. And as they roll the aircraft out, on his right hand side, Patrick Wilson, number 2, he's the newest member of the team. Patrick started his career in aviation as an engineer on corporate jets before cutting his teeth on flying the Saab 340 up in the Highlands. That's some tough flying up there. And now a special message from Team Raven to everybody here at Blackpool as they extend their heart to you. Thankfully the wind is not going to blow it away. So there we go, the figure of a heart in the sky, and then coming from the right, the arrow piercing your heart. Yesterday, when the red arrows did that, somebody proposed to somebody. That's true. So now running in from the right, here's our next 3 Ravens. They're going to pitch up, and pitch up. Number 3 there, Pete Wells. He's been flying all his life, self-confessed air junkie, over 6,000 hours. That's a lot. All of which on tail draggers. That is a lot. He went solo on his 16th birthday. He flew in the Royal Air Force for many, many years. Also started power fighting as a gliding tow pilot. So a glider tow pilot is the way to go if you want to build up some hours quickly. Piper Cubs and Pawnees. And he actually built an RV8 well before this team. This team was formed in 2014. He built his own RV8 back in 2002. So he was ahead of the curve when it comes to the team. So now, all 6 aircraft rejoining together, coming from our left-hand side. So ladies and gentlemen, get ready for the Raven Cascade. So all 6 aircraft now joining up with each other as they're climbing out to the right. Let's see if they pitch back in towards this way. Number 4, Paul Farmers. He's flying professionally as the chief pilot, search and rescue commander, as I said, down in St. Athens. He's number 5, Mark Southern. Mark by trade is an airline pilot. Lots of flying Boeings and Airbus over 30 years. Also XRF fast jet, where he was on Tornado GO1 and GP. And Raven 6, Gerald Wilson. And Gerald, you'll know Gerald the minute you see him. He's an ex-rugby player, and he looks like a rugby player. He played in Wales, New Zealand, and South Africa. Now he has a very successful business in Swansea. So, coming in for the last time, let's watch as they pitch up. And let's listen in to Team Raven call out the shots. Get your cameras ready. Ladies and gentlemen, Team Raven. Thank you very much, guys. Safe flight back to Blackpool, and then they'll be heading off back down towards Swansea and Cardiff. And really good to see them here on the second day.
It's your favourite?
So this aircraft, known as Miss Pickup, for obvious reasons, one of its many missions that the Catalina did was picking up downed pilots. Based out of Duxford, and it's a conglomerate of people that have come together to save this aircraft. Keep an eye on the wingtips. At the moment you can see they're nice and clean. A little bit later on he's going to drop down the floats on either end of the massive wing on this aircraft. Catalina is arguably the most famous and successful flying boat ever built. There's more of these built than any other aircraft of its type over 3,280 aircraft in North America. And also there was some built in Russia, believe it or not. It was produced in both flying boat and amphibious versions, so it would have little wheels that would pop out from underneath and it could taxi up around. They were used in a variety of all theatres of operations in World War II and by the Allied Air Forces and the US Navy. Anti-submarine warfare, coastal patrol, convoy escorts, and as the name suggests with this aircraft, air-sea rescue. Known as the Catalina, or the PBY as it was known to the US Navy, it was closely involved in many historical actions in the Second World War, Pearl Harbor, the interception of Bismarck, where it was finally sunk, and the sinking of numerous U-boats. You can see those floats have popped down now. They're used to stabilize the aircraft when it's landing on the sea, which it did very often. Unfortunately, this aircraft does not land on the sea anymore. It's fully capable of landing on the sea, but if you subjected that airframe to salt water, it would just hesitate. It would speed up its demise, and it takes a lot of cleaning to get all that salt water off after it's landed. So it will land on a lake, fresh water, but we don't see the Catalina, this one particularly, land on the water anymore. And there's one of its characteristic moves, slow. It sounds a bit strange, but for an aircraft to go slow is actually a very, very useful tool, especially when you're hunting submarines. Because when you want to come in and drop down some depth charges, you want to be accurate. So you don't mean zooming in at high speed. So slow speed would help, and also the detection and the search for downed aircraft as well. The crews of these aircraft were incredibly brave, flying many, many hours out over the Atlantic, up over the Antarctic as well. Even after the war, the Catalina was still very, very useful. Numerous military and commercial operators around the world took them on. They were used as forest fighter bombers, survey aircraft, air displays as well. They were doing them even back then. Today there's only about 14 or 15 airworthy examples around the world, and Miss Pickup is definitely the most active. And she's the only Catalina flying regularly in Europe. In 2023 was the aircraft's 80th birthday. She was built by the Canadian Pickers Company in Quebec for the Royal Canadian Air Force back in 1943. During World War II, the aircraft hunted enemy submarines, patrolling day and night along the coast of Western Canada. Post-war, it was used for Arctic survey work and also briefly as a freighter before joining search and rescue flights where it served until finally being sold in 1961. So it is a true warbird. She was transferred onto Canadian registration and then was converted to begin a long career as a water bomber. She fought a lot of fires over Canada, did some seasonal work in the south of France and Chile as well. And then in the 90s, the aircraft was purchased for an African safari project. So the idea was they were going to put really big blisters on the side of the aircraft, and you would fly along looking at the giraffes and the lions. Surprisingly, that company did not finish the version because it was a silly idea, and thankfully the aircraft was brought back. So coming for the last time from the right hand side, PBY 5A Catalina, Miss Pickup. listen in for Dave Farrell, who's leading the show. So, ladies and gentlemen, coming from your left, high up, it's Aero Superbatics wing walking team. So as you can see, the girls are actually upside down on the top of the wings, and you'll see them rotate very quickly as they start to get the right way up. These Boeing Stearmans have been heavily modified. Instead of the standard 220 horsepower engine, they have a 456, let's call it 460 horsepower engine. And watch on top as the girls come back in from the right. And as you can see, they are upside down. That is their leg waving in the air as they're grabbing onto the wire. Now keep an eye on the girls as they head out. Beautifully silhouetted. See they're upside down? Watch this. There they go. They just flipped around. They just moved all the way back to be the right side up. So that harness actually can rotate in any direction. (1940) Boeing Stearman, as I said, striking red, white, and blue liveries. And again, like the Harvard, you'll hear that sort of rasping noise, and that's as the propeller is approaching the speed of sound. So let's listen in as Dave calls out the next sequence. Get ready for the B break. Good photo opportunity. As Kirsty and Emma right themselves around, flying the aircraft, as I said, Dave Farrell, he's the lead pilot, over 5,500 hours, over 1,400 displays, and Brian Corns, he's number 2, 13,000 hours under his belt, and over 500 displays. Then on top of the wing, the first aircraft is Kirsten Popjoy. And then behind her is Emma Broadbent. Girls, as you can imagine, are super fit. They are in the gym all the time. They're fully trained for this very, very high G maneuver. Watch as the aircraft pitches down. And as you can see, Kirsten and Emma both raising their leg as they're subjected to 4G. So it won't be surprising to know that they're both acrobats. They worked in circus and dance and very gymnastic. Very big gymnastic display. To give you an idea what it'll feel like, you can imagine heading home tonight and you're going at about 100 miles an hour, stick your head out the window of the car, and that's just your head. Imagine your whole body being exposed to 100 miles an hour. So both coming back on the B axis. The ladies are now on the side. And crossing over. Again, staying on the side until they flip themselves around the right way. Emma is in her 4th year of wing walking and is equally at home doing solo her the display routine as we're seeing today. She has performed over 100 displays across 4 countries. Now, pick up Dave and Brian approaching each other on the left and the right, punching forward and crossing over. I don't know if you saw it, I think it was about 2-3 weeks ago now, there was a program on BBC One, and it was about 7 o'clock after the news, and it was a whole half hour behind the team, and they were following Kirsten around as well, and it was really, really good. So if you get a chance, have a look at that Wing Walkers. It's still on, I'm pretty sure it's still on iPlayer. I think it's called the Ultimate Wing Walkers. It's on BBC One iPlayer. So if you want to see what it's like with the team, behind the scenes, have a look at that. So now, as you can see, both aircraft have climbed the height, and that means one thing, they're going to start doing maneuvers. So the ladies themselves, obviously on top of the wing, create a big drag on the aircraft. It's called parasitic drag, and that will slow down the aircraft. So even though they've got the operated engines, they still need height, say, for speed. So get ready as they come rolling in. Now they're going to build up their speed. The aircraft are going to roll with the aircraft. The ladies on top. Watch, pitching up and rolling upside down. Oh, no way would I do that job. So Dave Barrel climbing out, turning these left. We're approaching, we've got past the midway point in the show, so they're going to come running back in from the right hand side. Now, if you have binoculars, today is your day. Just keep the binoculars on the girls on the top of the wing. For all those men out there that bought binoculars and their wives give them grief about it. Kevin, why do you need binoculars? You're an electrician. Now who's laughing? Keep an eye on the girls, because you're going to see them unstrap themselves from the top of the aircraft and then move forward and sit on the top of the wing. So as we're talking now, they've unclipped themselves from the top harness and they've moved forward, and instead of standing or on their hands or sideways on that pole, once they come back around, have a good look through your binoculars that you knew you'd need one day, or maybe a big long lens on your phone, and have a look, see where the girls are now. They're sitting on the top of the wing. Love to be in the interview when those girls come in and they say, so what's the job? Right, so the job is we strap you to the top of a wing of an aircraft. Oh, okay, well, all right, I might be able to do that. Oh, but then you have to unstrap yourself and get off the wing and sit on the front of the wing. But there you go, they did it. Now, not happy with sitting on the front of the wing, obviously. You can't go back to Renkum on top of Stearman. They're now going to transition towards the rear of the aircraft, and they're going to stand on top of the cockpit. They're not getting into the cockpit yet. So watch as they come back around for the penultimate pass. So watch as their final pass comes up. They're going to still head out towards sea and then turn gently to our right hand side, and then the girls will finally come around. And as I said, both of them are trained dancers, and I can never say the word. It's aberesque or ababisque or something. It's some sort of ballet maneuver where you basically grab your ankle at the back and you pull your leg up towards your back. If you know how to say that, send it to me on Instagram at Joe Airshow. But look now for the final time, coming from the right hand side, the aerobatics wing walking team. In the lead, Emma Broadbent behind her, and at the controls, Dave Barrel leading the team out. Amazing display. Thank you very much, and of course Brian Forns as well, bringing up the rear in the red. So a big thank you to Aero Superbatics and the wing. It's the Strike Master pair. So Golf Alpha Foxtrot, which is the grey one, that's a Mark 32A, belongs to the Strike Masters Flying Club, based at Northwest Military Aviation Services, North Wales. This aircraft was imported by Mark Petrie in 2004 from Oman, and today it's an immaculate grey camouflage colour scheme. Would have been servicing in the Royal Air Force of Oman. Exactly the same look. The aircraft is actually the youngest of the Strike Masters ever produced, being built as a one-off back in 1986, and it has accumulated a little over 2,500 hours of life so far, and that's pretty good for an airframe like that. That's got a long life ahead of it. And as you can see, it's carrying about two 100-litre fuel tanks on the inboard wing pilots, and that supplies the smoke system. Now the other aircraft, the brown and the green one, Golf Alpha Foxtrot, that's a Mark 80A, and also owned by NWMAS Leasing. Started life with serial number as 1120 of the Royal Saudi Air Force. However, the wings on this aircraft actually saw service with the Royal Air Force of Oman during the Dhofar War, so it's a bit of a mix of two aircraft. Those wings were fitted to aircraft 403 during the service. Their wings were damaged, and now they also bear repaired bullet holes on them. And the colour scheme from this aircraft is representing the Sultan of Oman's Air Force from the 1972 area. Both aircraft, as I said, operated by North Wales Military Aviation Services, and that's an engineering company employing local professionals. They maintain a broad range of light aircraft and ex-military jets. A thoroughbred Welsh company who are achieving considerable success, and they have a well-deserved worldwide reputation as experts on Strike Masters. So flying the aircraft today, Sean Chiddington leading the pair, now in his third year. Sean joined the Royal Air Force straight from school, gained his wings on Hawks, became an instructor on the JP, so he'll be used to this type of aircraft. He represented the RAF actually as the Jet Promise display pilot. Did 80 shows. They're also flying Jaguars, 2 tours at Collishaw, then on to Lossiemouth. He flew missions in the Gulf and the Balkans. These days Sean is the current airline captain flying the A320, one of the UK's largest airlines. In addition to display flying, he's also chief pilot at Jet Legends, flying passengers in the Strike Master, so you can actually go flying in these aircraft out of North Weald in the summer months.
Oh, I'm going to do that, man.
So watch now as they go into the break.
You can be a passenger on these. I'll be the pilot.
Ian Brett is flying number 2, 30 as he's known. Did a lot of flying as a PPL and a glider pilot. And he completed university, served as an RF pilot for 13 years, flying Tornado GL4s. He became a qualified pilot navigator instructor as well as a QFI on the tutor. And he also has a background in flying displays for the Royal Air Force. He was the tutor display pilot. So like I said, believe it or not, if you want to go flying in one of these, you actually can. These actual aircraft. A company called Jet Legends, part of Aero Legends. And the first operator to be given UKCA approval to fly passengers in these jets. You can fly as a singleton or a pair, pull up alongside a Spitfire while you're up there. So far apparently 200 people have popped the credit card for it. And as a passenger, you can fly with Sean and Bertie that are displaying today. If you want to know more, go to aerolegends.co.uk. That'd be the ultimate present, wouldn't it? Flying in one of the Strike
Yeah, I'll have
Masters.
that for Christmas, please. Ground school and obtained the CPL. Then he got his flying instructor qualification. He was flying the Hawker Hunter as well at the Mid-Air Squadron. He was awarded the ATRE for Hunter aircraft. He also became an ME, CRI and an IRI aerobatic instructor and a flying examiner. Wow, his business card was really long. Imagine how wide it is. He also uses his instructional experience to teach formation flying to civilian pilots, and this is his 4th year of displaying the Strike Master, having previously displayed for 2 years as part of Team Raven that we saw earlier on. So let's listen in as they come back around for the penultimate pass. Get your cameras ready, ladies and gentlemen. The Strike Master Pier comes straight towards us. Wonderful display, these vintage jets. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Calidus Autogyro. I told you it was very unique, isn't it? As you can see, it's fully covered. This aircraft was originally built as a sort of touring aircraft, and it's very comfortable inside as well. I'm set inside it, there's loads of room, bubble canopy gives you great visibility, and it's even got a heater. You see what I mean by once it comes downwind, it really does speed up. Very responsive on the controls, and that whole rotor blade flapping around on top, that's just free lift, baby. It is a very, very smart design. Was the first rotary aircraft ever designed. It was designed back in 1920. 23, look that up. And it was way before the helicopter was invented. So you can see the Rotax engine powering that propeller at the back of the aircraft. So it's what we call a pusher aircraft. It's not pulling the aircraft through the air, it's pushing it through the air. Flight speeds anywhere between 0 and 120 miles an hour. So that's a good cruising speed for this type of aircraft. And because you're enclosed as well, it's very aerodynamic. It's a comfortable way to get around the country. I could have done with it on Friday night when I was driving up here for the 7 hours on the M5 and the M6.
7 hours.
And as you can see, responds very well to the rudder. Look at the tail rudder at the back. If he's using his feet, get the aircraft to swing. The Rotax 914 engine throwing out a massive 115 horsepower. That's not a lot, but more than enough because this airframe is so light. These aircraft were designed back in 2009, certified by the CAA as late as 2011, but over 1,000 of these have been made and sold worldwide. And you know, like you live in a dream world where you say, one day I'll have my own airplane and I'll have my own airfield out the back of my house. Well, with this, you literally could. It's not massively expensive and it takes off in about 10 meters. So you don't need, you can literally take off in your garden. Depending on the weather and the wind, anywhere between 10 to 70 meters for takeoff roll. Peter putting it through its paces there with a bit of crazy flying. Clearly, no fly-by-wire system on board. And yeah, it was 1923 when they were invented. That was only 20 years after the Wright brothers, so it was a very, very early form of aviation. You cannot stall these aircraft, so even if the engine was to cut out and it lost the power from the pusher aircraft, you've still got all that energy stored in the rotor blade because they're freewheeling. It's just rolling around there. It has a certain amount of speed built into it, so you just pitch the aircraft down, keep the airflow up over the rotor disc, and before you know it, you'll be safely touching down on the ground. Spiraling climb. And it has a decent climb rate as well, 1,200 feet per minute. And now we can see where it goes into the hover. He'll just point it into the wind and it just stops. Yesterday we had that like 30 knot wind, so it just hung there like a helicopter. I think today it's gusting about 10 if that. Well, you can see even in the descent, there's no big jerky movements. It's a very controlled, you know, you can tell he's steering it all the way down. He's got more than enough lift. I said they were invented back in 1923, and the name autogyro was a trade name for the inventor of the aircraft. Nowadays they're more known as gyrocopters or gyroplanes or autogyros. So Sikorsky, when he invented the helicopter, he had obviously looked at the autogyro and thought, well, what if we power that helicopter, that main rotor blade, and then instead of a pusher engine, we'll let the rotor blade do all the lifting. But then of course he had to put a tail rotor blade in to counteract the torque coming from the rotor. So as I said, that propeller at the back is just pushing the aircraft forward through flight. And also you'll notice when he flies, see how the rotor blade is tilted back a bit? That's to get the air to come up and flow through it. You don't want it flowing over it, you want it flowing through it. So when he pitches the aircraft forward, you'll notice the rotor blade will be almost flat, there you go, as he goes forward like that. So you need the air to flow through the rotor disc. You don't want it flowing over the rotor disc if you can help it. So say a big thanks to the sponsors of Peter's Aircraft, Runway HD VF4 flight navigation software, means he's never lost. Cooley's flight equipment as well, and of course very nice to have a set of Bose headphones when you're in your helicopter, so he's got those Bose pilot headsets. There he goes, waving his big hand as he's coming by. Give him a big wave back. He can see you when you wave. Don't be shy. So a big thanks to Peter Troy Davis and his Calidus autogyro. Very unique aircraft, great to see it here, and as you can see it can get up close and personal as well, because it's not one of the huge, most powerful aircraft. Watch as he comes back now in the centre line for his final manoeuvre. Does look like a helicopter, doesn't it? Coming at you like that. It's like, oh, that's a helicopter. Oh no, it's not. And of course everyone recognises it from the Bond days. There you go, a little bow, pitch the nose up, and exit stage left. Thank you very much, Peter. What a gentleman's carriage that is. I think he left something on the beach, just came back to get it, and now he's heading off. He's definitely going back this time. So a big thanks to everybody who's reaching out today on Instagram. It's Joe Airshow. Message came in from Kirsty Ann Murray. She wants to know when's the Chinook coming back to the Airshow again. That's a good shout. I haven't seen the Chinook. I don't know if it's displaying. I think it's finished now for the season in this year, but we'll definitely put that to the organisers as well. If you want to Myas wants to have a shout out to a 4-year-old son, Harley, who's at the airshow for the first time, and he loves the Lancaster and the red arrows. Well, the red arrows are still coming up, Harley, so you hang on there. So here they come, running in from the right for the one and only pass, our chipmunk pair. John Hurl at the controls leading them. And you can see that classic red and white paint scheme on the leading aircraft. John Hurley at the controls. That is a proper Gypsy Moth powered aircraft. And the one behind it is what's called a super chipmunk, because it's got a Lycoming engine in it. And unfortunately, because of the loss of radio on one of those aircraft, they will not be able to display. So it's a quick hello and then goodbye for these aircraft. A little bit of a tail chase.
You're an old plane.
And now he's pulling up, John's pulling the aircraft up, getting a little bit of height.
I'm an old plane. I'm younger than you.
August. Not Bank holiday here.
That XREF T10 is absolutely genuine inside. We want to see it. It's like it's just come out of the factory. It just looks so good.
Standard UK, that is.
And the other one is a 1953 aircraft that's been converted, as I said, with a light combing engine. So the original Gypsy Major engine that was powering most of the fleet of these Chipmunks.
38-hour contract on that.
The aircraft was used for many years as a glider tug before being completely restored in 2019 to its current pristine state. And all these Chipmunks are becoming really expensive and rare to own and operate because you need a lot of work and maintenance and NDT work on these aircraft to keep them valid, especially for display work.
Technically, I get 5 minutes before.
But as I said earlier, think about this, 70 plus years.
So it's
I hope when I'm 70 plus that I'll still be flying around the beach of Blackpool. Of course, your classic tail dragger configuration, fixed undercarriage, and because you didn't have a lot of power as well, it was pretty docile on the ground. It's pretty hard to ground loop them. Visibility once airborne is okay. It's not the most spacious cockpit inside. I remember constantly banging my helmet, my foam dome on the sides of it. As you can see, another gentleman's carriage. And we don't see enough of them flying anymore. Even they were very popular when they came out of service with the Royal Air Force, and they went into public use. And they were, instead of people buying 1.7 Cessnas and things like that, it was reasonable to buy one of these because the engine, avionics were pretty rudimentary, so it wasn't exactly expensive. And a lot of ex-Royal Air Force personnel bought a lot of Chipmunks. But as technology moved on and the mountain of spares dwindled, just getting parts for these aircraft now is incredibly difficult and expensive.
Yeah, I'm bringing my box and chatting too.
Now I think the Air Training Corps moved on from Chipmunks, and it's the Groff 105 that you go flying in now when you join those. As I said, can't recommend that organisation enough. Did 2 years in it, learned a lot about aviation and the Royal Air Force. So if you're interested in a career and to go flying, I couldn't think of anything better than going to talk to the Air Training Corps. You will end up in not a Chipmunk, oh, not a little victory roll there at the end, but today's equivalent. So a big thank you to John Early, who's brought the aircraft in even though it had a technical problem. I'm now going to hand over, not just to the Red Arrows, who will be coming shortly, but to the Red Devils.
last-minute safety checks. So each individual will check each other's parachutes off, ensure that all the harnesses and equipment they'll be using today is all safe for jumping. And from there, the JM will be looking outside the door. Each individual will have a quick little glance at the DZ, make sure they're happy, looking out for any hazards. Obviously we're in Blackpool, so we've got the big tower. Okay, so each individual, get eyes on and look where the cross is. On the ground with us today, we've got Corporal Kai Fisher. So he's our DZ NCO. He'll be communicating with the pilot, communicating with the guys on board and ensuring they're happy. Again, on the ground we've got Private Joshua Ogge. He's going to be letting the smokes off on the ground so that when they do exit the aircraft, they know exactly the wind direction and the landing pattern for when they jump. If we keep looking up at the aircraft, we will see the first man exit. Okay, and he will let off some smoke from the side of the aircraft. That's not the aircraft on fire, that is them just making sure each individual has set the smoke bracket off. At the moment I still think they're climbing, so they'll probably just do one more lap, and then once they come around, they'll ensure that they're flying into wind, and then from there they'll exit the aircraft. In the aircraft today we've got 7 jumpers, so we've got our team leader, Corporal Stephen Hanley. Second on board we've got Lance Corporal Oliver Goss, he's our jump master. One of the most important jobs. His role today is ensuring that the spot is correct, so it's his decision and responsibility for each individual's safety as they exit the aircraft. He'll be the first man down to the ground, he'll set the landing pattern. So as a parachutist we want to stay upwind, okay, trying to put the best display on as possible. Once we get to around 600 to 700 feet we can start our landing pattern. So from there we'll go downwind, we're going to do a left-handed landing pattern, and then we're going to aim for the centre of the cross. Next on board we've got Private Oliver Hobbs. So today he'll be jumping out the aircraft with one of the small Blackpool flags. So look out for him, he'll have a big white Blackpool flag on a harness around his chest, and he'll lower it around 2,000 feet. On board as well we've got a crew team. So it consists of 3 members of the team. We've got our staff pilot, Corporal Richard Kingston. So he directs the crew team onto the cross. So when they build the formation in the sky, all the responsibility is held on him. So if you look up now, first man to exit the aircraft is Corporal Stephen Hanley. He's on a wingsuit, okay, got smoke in the back of his legs, and he's going to drift all the way around, and he's going to pull it around 3,500 feet. Second man leaving the aircraft now is our jump master, Lance Corporal Oliver Goss. He's going to slow himself down at this point, and any second now you're going to see his canopy open. The next 3 members out the aircraft is our crew team, so sequentially they'll all pitch out the aircraft, trying to stay as close as they can together in the sky. What these 3 are going to do in the sky is a canopy formation called a try-by-side. So they're all going to try and stack each other's canopies on top of each other. From there they're going to compress the canopies. As you can see now he's moving towards the back of his canopy. What this allows us to do is attach harnesses from each individual, strap ourselves together, direct ourselves onto the cross, and then from there we can downplane straight into a try-by-side. We can put a big round of applause together. You can see now coming in, first man, our team leader, who is our wingsuiter today, Corporal Stephen Hanley. As you can see as well in the sky, we have Corporal Henry Moe. He's our big flag flyer. So the flag is actually 7,000 square foot. It has to be jumped on a tandem rig. And you can see he needs to stay upwind. It's really hard to control. Behind him, as you can see now as well, we've got our crew team and our cameraman following him behind. So our cameraman is Oliver Goss. The crew team is now going to direct the canopy formation towards the DZ. Next down, we've got Private Oliver Hobbs, so a big round of applause for our Blackpool flag flyer. He is now on his downwind. He's going to turn his canopy quietly. He's going to pull in his front risers, gather as much speed as possible, okay, and land safely on the cross. Big round of applause, Private Oliver Hobbs. So if we keep looking into the sky now, we've still got 5 members in the air. We've got Henry Mullen, our big flag. He's safely trying to keep this flag upwind as much as he can and drifting it towards the cross. On his right hand side we've got the tribicides, so they're just going to hold in this position. At the moment they're strapped together by harnesses. In the centre we've got Corporal Richard Kingston. On either side now he's attached by the hip by a harness, and he's directing both crew pilots towards the centre. Once he's happy, he's then going to downplane all 3 canopies. So listen out for the commands. You'll hear him scream. On either side of him now they're going to direct the centre canopy, and they're going to split around 300 feet. As soon as they split, perfect opportunity for some good photos. Big round of applause. We'll be splitting any moment now. Perfect. So we've got Richard Kingston, he's our stack pilot in the centre, landing in the middle. On the right hand side we've got Corporal Brian Moe, and on his left hand side we've got Corporal Cameron Clark. Our big flag flyer, Corporal Henry Moe. Obviously it's a little bit tougher landing on the sand, the big flag and all that weight. Last man down to the ground, we've got our cameraman, Corporal Oliver Duff. If there's anyone in the crowds who's enjoyed watching what they want to do and wants to do a skydive.
Through the last act of Blackpool 2025.
Good afternoon, Blackpool! I am Swan in the Grey Muscat Red 10, the team supervisor with Royal Air Force Aerobax team in Strado! Absolutely fantastic to be here at Blackpool to round off the show on such a great weekend. I know it was a bit windy yesterday, but at least the wind's gone today, and we're hopefully put on a great show. The team are airborne. They did a fly past at 10 to 5 over at Drill, and they're getting themselves ready for the show. I have the honour of talking through the show for you. I'll give you some more information about the team, about the pilots, and of course, most importantly, I'll get your eyes into the correct piece of sky, so you do not miss a single second of the action. The team are now at our rear. They're getting themselves ready. They'll prep the jets, they'll trim the aircraft out, they'll get the smoke pod ready to put on the red, white and blue to be here hopefully on time at 5 o'clock. An extremely busy season for us. We've been going since the end of May, beginning of June. We've got about 65 displays in total, about 17, 18 official fly pasts. We've just come off a week's leave, and then we're into the second half of the show, which arguably is the most busiest part of the show, of the season. We've got 2 days off, Monday, Tuesday, then we fly down to Cornwall on Wednesday to do a show on Falmouth on Wednesday evening, and then we're Eastbourne Thursday through to Sunday next week. So an extremely busy period for this time of the year. There are 3 types of show that we can do. We can either do a full show, a rolling show, or a flat show, and that's based on cloud base and or airspace. There's no airspace restrictions here at Blackpool, but of course we can all see there's a little bit of cloud in the way. I don't really know what the height of the cloud is. I suspect about 5,000 feet. We need about 5,000 to 6,000 feet for a full show, about 2,500 to 3,000 feet for a rolling show, and a minimum 1,000 feet for a flat show. And that decision will be made by Red One as he rolls into the show, literally about 10 seconds before they arrive, and he'll either call full, flat or rolling. Don't expect him to go rolling today, but you never know. Red One sometimes goes full through the cloud and then comes back through the cloud, giving him a little bit of a heart attack, not knowing if they're going to come back down or not. But when they come, they'll arrive in a large V formation, which is the same formation that you see us flying over London when we do our official state flight past for His Majesty King Charles III. And we call that flight past formation a big battle. With all the even numbers, that's 2, 4, 6, 8 on the right hand side, 3, 5, 7 and 9 on the left hand side. However, when we arrive in the show, we're slightly out of order. We have 2, 6, 4 and 5, 8 on the right hand side, and 3, 7, 5 and 9 on the left. And we call that amateur big battle, amateur meaning that we're not in sequential order. And the reason for this is so that we can move into our second shape of the show, which is our world famous Diamond 9. If I go quiet for a couple of seconds, it's just because I'm speaking to Red One, make sure all is okay for their arrival in approximately 30 seconds. When they come, make sure you give them a huge round of applause, a huge cheer, and I'll transmit that welcome to the Red Arrows. And of course, that'll give them that extra kick to make sure they put on a wonderful display to end the Blackpool Airshow 2025. All waiting patiently.
No joke, private truck.
They are coming across.
Help them. It's the only thing they can do.
So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together for the 2025 Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team. It's the Red Arrows! Arriving at over 400 miles per hour, trailing our famous red, white and blue. Red one eases the team up, and it brings them slightly to the right, which means he's telling me they've started the show rolling. And you can see that amateur big battle formation, that famous V shape as red one brings them around to the right. You'll now see reds 6 and 7 collapse and sitting behind red 1, and reds 8 and 9 also move inwards as they form our world famous Diamond 9. Leading the team for his second year as team leader, red 1, squad leader John Bond. Bond is in his second year as team leader. He's a former Typhoon pilot, former qualified flying instructor on the Tucano, where he was the Tucano display pilot in 2012. Once again, from our right, in the world famous Diamond 9, it's the Red Arrow! On the right hand side of red 1 is red 2, Flight Lieutenant Rob Thomas. Rob is in his first year of the team. Uniquely, he was taken from training and made straight into an instructor on the Hawk Team Mark 1, before then completing his own training and joining the Typhoon Force, where he flew with 3 Squadron on ops over Iraq and Afghanistan, and then become an instructor on the Operational Conversion Unit 29 Squadron, all based at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. You now see either side of that centre section move rearwards, as reds 8 and 9 move left and right to form one of the widest shapes that we fly in 2025. In from the left, the smoke comes on, in the Swan.
Welcome.
You can hear those commands from Red 1, they're almost robotic and monotone in its delivery, and that's because we fly our formation by ear rather than by eye. And it means the pilots on the outside of the formation are putting their input on the control column just a little bit earlier than those on the inside, and that allows us to move as one. Reds 8 and 9 now sit behind Reds 2 and 3 to form one of the most iconic shapes in aviation history. The smoke comes on from the left hand side, it is Concorde. On the left-hand side of that centre stem is red 3, Flight Lieutenant Andrew McEwen, known as Macca. Macca is also in his first year on the team. He used to fly the Aviate-B, it's a Harrier variant when he was on exchange with the United States Marine Corps, before then coming back and then joining the F-35B, the Lightning, the newest 5th generation fighter of the Royal Air Force, based at RAF Marham with 617, the Dambuster Squadron. For those that can see, you'll see reds 2 and 3 move upwards, the rear sections form the delta wing shape, because 2025 celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Royal Air Force Typhoon display team. You saw that aircraft fly earlier. It's a magnificent piece of aeroplane engineering, and from the right hand side, in nod to those 20 years of Typhoon display team, from the right, Typhoon roll. side, all the way back of that formation, is Red 4, squadron leader Chris McCann. He's working extremely hard, having to look through the formation, look at Red 1, because all our formation references are taken from Red 1, but not necessarily the aircraft on the inside of you in the formation. Squadron leader Chris McCann is in his second year on the team, former Tornado GR4 pilot, who also flew on operations over Afghanistan, where he received an Air Force Cross for his service on operations over Afghanistan. As they come in from the front, from the left-hand side, the smoke comes on with a nod to the Royal Air Force capability in space. This is Apollo. 11 pilots in the Red Arrows. Of course, you've got Reds 1 through 9 displaying for you today. Myself, Red 10, former Tornado GR4 pilot, former Hawk T2 qualified flying instructor. And this is my 4th and final year on the Red Arrows. And of course, we are commanded by Wing Commander Adam Collins, Red 11, Officer Commanding Rafat, again, former Tornado GR4 pilot. And he's flown the F-111 while on exchange with the Royal Australian Air Force. And it is his 3rd and final year on the Red Arrows. Reds 6 and 7 now split towards the rear. This is an opportunity to get your cameras ready as they come around from the left for the colourful Big Vixen.
Come on, got it.
In that particular manoeuvre, the aircraft are flying with the air brake out. That is a small door at the base of the aeroplane towards the rear. This has twofold effect. The first effect means the pilots fly with a higher throttle setting, thereby producing a hotter engine gas temperature, and it makes the smoke colours burn a lot more brightly. The second effect is it means this airflow outside the back of the aeroplane is a lot more disturbed, and this makes the smoke billow a lot more fuller, and therefore in certain manoeuvres throughout the show we'll use this technique to enhance those manoeuvres. As I said, the Red Arrows is not just about the pilots. We have a team of over 120 personnel. Over 100 of them are the Red Arrows engineers, public relations, administrators and mechanics. They are known as the Blues, and there are a number of Blues today here at our public relations tent. So please pop along, say hello, find out what they do on the wider Royal Air Force and of course their roles in the Red Arrows. From the right hand side you'll see Reds 6 and 7 in trail, Reds 8 and 9 in trail on the rest of the formation. For one of the most popular, if not the most popular, the Red Arrows fly, it's get your cameras ready, it's that time, it's Tornado time! Reds 8 and 9, roll goes, Reds 8 and 9 roll around the rest of the formation. But watch for the colour change as Red 1 brings them down the line. Joining on the right hand side of the formation as Red 8 joining on the right hand side of the formation, and Red 9 plays catch up to form once again our world famous Diamond 9. As Red 1 continues to bring them around to his right, come back towards the display line, this will be your last opportunity to get that picture of the world famous Red Arrows in our world famous Diamond 9 before we start the second half of the show. Of course, the second half of the show is the more dynamic, fast paced, heart pumping, jaw dropping part of the show. But then again, once again, from the left-hand side, the smoke comes on, get your cameras ready, in the Diamond 9, it's the 2025, it's the Red Arrows. And as we start the second half, we start with the same way as 2024, because it was so popular. This is the 5-4 split. As we go into the second half, we now operate in 2 distinct sections. Off to the left-hand side, you've got Reds 1 through 5, known as Enid, named after Enid Blyton's famous 5 from the children's books. Off to the right-hand side, you've got 6, 7, 8 and 9, They are known as Hannah, named after squad leader Ray Hannah, one of the first members of the Red Arrows, the only team leader to lead the team for 4 consecutive years. He took the team from a 7 to a 9 and formed our world famous Diamond 9. So, Enid from the left, Hannah from the right, for the colourful 5-4 cross. Keep your eye on Enid to our right hand side as they now travel to our left. Red 4 starts to move in and sit behind Red 1 as Red 5 sits on trail on the rest of Enid. Number 5, roll go, and a board is caught by Red 5 as he rolls around the rest of the smoking Enid in the twister. Red 5 is Flight Lieutenant Dustin Wales, known as Dusty. Second year on the team, originally from Zimbabwe. He joined the Red Air Force and flew the Typhoon on 11 Squadron, as well as an instructor on 29 Squadron, and also a test pilot on 41 Squadron, all based at RAF Coningsby in Lincolnshire. As Enid leaves to our right hand side, look directly to your front. You're looking for the smoke trails of 6, 7, 8 and 9. 8 and 9 smoke red and blue. Get your cameras ready, it's the Hannah break. Red 6 and 8 to our left hand side, Red 7 and 9 to our right hand side. Hannah and the synchro pair are led by the synchro leader, that's Red 6 to our left, smoking white, squadron leader Tom Hansford. Tom is in his 3rd and final year on the team. He's a former Typhoon pilot, former qualified weapons instructor, which means he would teach all weapons technical information and tactics to the entire Typhoon force. Each pair will now turn back towards the display line. They'll dive down to approximately 100 feet above the sea. They have a closing speed of over 900 miles per hour as they perform the maneuver called the Hannah Pass. Reds 8 and 9 go up and down in the roller coasters. Red 6 and 7 stay flat. Red 7 now off to our left, Red 6 off to our right side. Turn hard back towards each other. Pull up to 6G, turning back towards the display line as they turn the Hannah Pass into Cyclone. As the synchro pair leave directly to our front, look to your right hand side, you can see Enid running back in, the nose lights twinkling in the distance. Get down is what Red 1 says, and they form the inverted V. Looking to your left hand side, you're looking for Red 9. He's diving down to only 100 feet above the sea. He has a speed of over 500 miles per hour as he performs the Goose. On the Hawk Team Mark II, and before they joined the Red Arrows, he also flew the Strike Master pair that you saw displaying earlier, based out of North Wales. Look directly to your front and you can see the synchro pair running back in, Red 6 leading with Red 7 on our left hand side in trail. It's that time, get your cameras ready, this is the one you do not want to miss. The smoke comes on for the world famous Synchro Heart. And coming in from the top right to spear the heart is Red 8. Red 8 is Flight Lieutenant Rich Walker. He's flown Harrier, he's flown Typhoon, and he's been a qualified flight instructor on the Hawk T-Mark II. And then I'd like to dedicate today's heart to all the countless volunteers that have worked so tirelessly over the weekend to make Blackpool Airshow such a wonderful success. Keep your eye on the synchro pair. They're turning hard back towards the display line. That 100 feet. That closing speed of over 900 miles per hour. Each aircraft will perform a barrel roll. They'll cross in the middle, only wingtip to wingtip by 30 metres. That's only 100 feet. Followed by a second barrel roll in a manoeuvre called the double rolls.